Hi, guys, and welcome to the Gin and Tonic Show. We help Muslims and non Muslims to handle Islam in the 21st century. My name is Mustafa, and this is my co host in the nick of time. If you wish to talk about Islam, the ideology, you have come to the right place. We cover current Islamic news, Islamic scripture, some crazy comments, and a weekly topic about Islam to examine, critique, and analyze. If this is not enough Islam for you, please drop by our Discord to discuss any further questions about Islam. We condemn any form of discrimination, violence, misogyny, slavery. However, we do embrace free speech and criticism if it's factual and correct. Thank you for stopping by and enjoy the Gin and Tonic Show.
Hello everyone, how is everything going? So this is going to be a special episode. Sorry if I'm not of the best of shapes today, but sorry if my voice sounds different. Quick thing before we get started, something I want to try for the channel is playing music. Actually, it doesn't want. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah. So, do you guys want to hear this in the background as I speak, or nah? Yeah, let me get rid of that. Alright. Yeah, I personally couldn't do the video if that was playing in the background. If you guys heard it or not, I don't know. But yeah, so today I'm going to be doing a couple of video reactions. The first one's from Britain, and the second one's from our friend Momo. So let me just get the file up. Alright. Let's fucking load. Yeah, alright.
Wearing a full face veil.
Yeah, so this is a video talking about the burka ban, right? Or the burka itself. So I'm just gonna react to the video and give my opinion in the meantime, and then we'll go to Mohammed Hijab's video. If my voice is doing well.
Wearing a full face veil or niqab in public is a way of life for some, but not all Muslims. Controversially, one Midlands college recently tried to ban its students from wearing them, but had to back down. The niqab isn't viewed by most people as compulsory in Islamic law, but there are younger Muslim women who are opting to wear it regardless of whether their mothers or immediate family do. Some argue it's...
Yeah, most probably because they're probably idolizing it in a way where they think it's cool. Whereas and I don't even think it's no person in Saudi Arabia would willingly wear this, right? Because it asks you to be modest while covering your chest and your hair. There is nothing that says you have to cover your face and your eyes. You can't show the shape of your body, you can't show your chest area, and you can't show your hair. So the niqab isn't actually prescribed. Yet people actually idolize it in a certain way only in the Western world because they think, same way some people think holistic Eastern medicine like acupuncture and such is 100% the way to go, right? It's the same bullshit you see with people who like Steve Jobs, the kind of pancreatic cancer the guy had. He probably could, with his money and resources, if he took the care at the right time, probably could have gotten it healed. But he had to go through some only carrot juice Eastern medicine style thing, and it ended up being definite. And I think it's the same bullshit that some people in the Western world go through, where they think, oh, they're not, they're so entitled that they think a symbolism of oppression is cool, or they're almost masochistic in a certain way. My personal opinion. Again, if you're really making the choice, willingly making the choice, I'm not going to sit here and stop you. But with your logic, if this is acceptable for you, then I should be able to follow a nudist principle at the same area.
Religious overtones are being used in tandem with an act of rebellion or as a way of tilting at society. In the first of a series of reports, our Home Affairs correspondent Darshna Soni has been finding out why some British women choose to wear the niqab.
They've been accused of threatening the British way of life, provoking a national debate about freedom of expression and integration in modern Britain.
Being called a terrorist and having aggressive behaviour towards me, I actually felt really scared.
They find it a very empowering experience. They're not dressing the way the magazines tell them to. It is a big...
Yeah, it's like I mentioned. Let us say because let's say in Buddhism, it doesn't directly say it, but I'll say, oh, my humility will require me to be as close as nature as possible. Therefore, I'll walk around as a nudist. The Buddhism principles don't directly say this, but I can probably twist and interpret it to that, right? And then if I walk out as a nudist, people will have a problem with that. Yet, the average Muslim, their texts don't actually encourage this. Or they don't actually have this written. It's more of an extrapolation from what's actually written. And they follow it. And so they're both on the extreme side. So if you're okay with this, you should also be okay with what I do as a nudist. That's the best comparison I can give you for this. And it's at the end of the day, I see both sides as being rebels, kids that just want to be rebels, because no way in hell, other than rebellion or force, there's no other reason why you should be wanting to wear something like this in a Western country.
It does take a lot of courage.
But why are an increasing number of young Muslim women covering their faces? I spent the day on Birmingham's Coventry Road, home to the city's largest Muslim community. It's often assumed that girls who wear the niqab are forced into it by their families. I met Asma, who started covering her face when she was just a young teenager at an all-girls school.
I was about 13 years old when I first...
So why is she doing it at an all-girls school, right? There's no other guys that would look at her. She's in front of other
I started to wear the niqab.
Which is really young.
It is very young. I think I shocked a lot of people.
Including your own family?
Yes, definitely. I think my mum was in the biggest of shock.
Asma's mum doesn't wear the veil. In fact, none of the women in her family do, and that caused some controversy.
So do you think part of it was that whole teenage rebellion thing?
For a bit, yeah. It was like, okay, this is new, it's interesting.
It's different.
It's different. I don't think I actually understood the meaning and the purpose of wearing it at that particular time.
Right. So you didn't even understand the reasons fully yourself?
Girls like to find a character, they like to find a personal persona for themselves.
The teenager says she has now studied her religion's teachings on the veil and decided to continue with it. We found that, like Asma, a growing
It would have been nice to ask her exactly what says that she needs to wear it, right?
number of young girls are wearing the niqab, even though their mothers never did, although there are no official numbers. Zaina Yassin has just finished university and says some girls are choosing the niqab as a way of asserting a Muslim identity they feel is under attack.
It doesn't make sense. Surely it's a lot better for a woman to cover up than to be walking around semi-naked,
Why are you so judgmental about what other people wear? You don't want people to be judgmental about what you wear, but you're going to be judgmental about what everyone else wears? If that's what that woman there wants to wear, semi-nude as you put it, why can't she when you're fully covered? Isn't it her body, her choice?
Where's the modesty?
Does it make you feel uncomfortable
Isn't modesty depending on the person?
when you see women wearing skimpy clothes in the
It
street?
does. It really does.
This is the height of hypocrisy.
I just feel it feels quite shameful, really.
You know, they call it the westernized world, but is that what it is? Is that what people want nowadays? Their daughters and everyone to copy role models such as, like, you know, just recently Miley Cyrus. She was Hannah Montana at one point. So many young girls loved her, and now she's gone and done this ridiculous thing on stage.
What ridiculous. Miley Cyrus is an inspiration for her singing ability, right? So you should be more. Why are you having her exterior be your impression of her? Why can't her passion for music be what inspires you?
Everybody's talking about. I mean, is that the kind of role model that people want in their lives? They want their daughters to grow up like that.
But does this view represent a clash of cultures? Many young Muslims are rejecting Western ideals about beauty.
When I've spoken to
Yeah, and that's the thing. You're living in a Western ideal country, yet you're believing these things. You're so against that.
young girls, I guess they find it a very empowering experience because they're not dressing the way the magazines tell them to.
So it's ironic that a lot of people think women wear the veil because they're oppressed or it's disempowering, but you're saying it's the opposite.
Yeah,
So sorry,
you know, I think generally, if you
Again,
don't
yeah.
know about Islam, you often see women and think, yeah, they're either from another country or, you know, they've been told to do it by their husbands or forced to do it by their families.
Shalina Litt works for a community radio station. She believes the debate about banning the burqa has stigmatised Muslim women who've been labelled as extremist, sometimes by their own families.
My family's first reaction when I started wearing the veil was not a positive one. They did feel that I was being...
So yeah, this comment really gets me. So that's a really great point because it's you're saying that it's your choice to wear this. Why can't that person have the choice not to wear it, right? Like, let's say if someone's wearing something like a sari or something, or a North American style or an Aboriginal style wear, would they not be considered slightly slutty or dirty, kafirs in their view? That's still traditional. Oh yeah, kill you all.
being brainwashed, or it was coming from the Wahhabis, and you know, different family members gave me copies of books that maybe would, you know, broaden my understanding. So I read the Islamists. I was even offered the God Delusion, and you know, so
So they were worried that you'd been brainwashed into wearing it.
yeah.
Shalina accepts that the niqab can make people uncomfortable because unlike a hijab or headscarf, it completely covers a woman's face.
I have heard people say, oh, it's like wearing a mask. What do you think to that?
For me, it's not a mask. You know, it's something that I'm doing to gratify. You know, it's a gratifying experience.
Yeah, I find it really claustrophobic.
If you haven't built a relationship with your Lord,
Yes.
the one that commands you to do this, then it will feel like that a little bit.
But are women commanded to wear the niqab? Within Islam itself, there is fierce debate, and we found some concern that young girls are being made to feel that it's a religious duty to cover up.
Wait, what the fuck was that book? What the fuck
And we
was that
found
book?
some concern that young girls are being made to feel that
Women Who Deserve to Go to Hell.
it's a religious duty to cover up. There are just two arguably ambiguous references in the Quran dealing specifically with women's dress, and this has led to different interpretations. Marina Parnanen is studying to become an Islamic scholar, one of the few women in this area. She's a Cambridge graduate and a white Christian convert. Many female converts wear the veil as a way of visually identifying with their adopted community.
I've heard people even say, oh, it's not even Islamic, which is laughable because, you know, if you actually study Islam, you'll find that the niqab is something in Islam. There's a difference of opinion about whether you must wear it or it's recommended or if it's just neutral.
Well, if it is in the text, why is it debated? Right? Obviously, then it's interpreted at that point. Because, all right, then are you saying that women who wear just a hijab are going to hell? What about the slutty horse that the other person was talking about before? Are they going to hell? That is their choice.
But it's not something that people can say, oh, it's not even Islamic. But because there are some kind of, I would say, ignorant people in the community saying that, that sends out a very mixed message to non-Muslims who then look at it like, are you being extreme or are you not being extreme? We don't really understand.
Ironically, scholars say that face veiling was practiced by many cultures before Islam and that Muslims adopted it as a way of fitting into these societies. Today, they're accused of the very opposite. And yet many of the young women we met say they are, in their own ways, still simply trying to fit in, of finding a way of expressing the very...
Oh, yeah, definitely. You're definitely trying to fit into a society that you're in.
British freedoms they're accused of undermining.
Darshana Soni, and tomorrow night we'll hear from Sarah, a white Muslim convert, on how people react to her wearing the niqab in public.
Oh, please God, I don't want to do that.
It's fear, and I understand that, and I have to be tolerant towards that. I was ignorant once. You know, I didn't know anything about Islam.
Yeah, no. The shit's ridiculous. Like, at the end of the day, it's your choice whether you want to wear it or not. I can't really say anything about it, but to tell me that that's not forced majority of the time, yeah, I know it just gets me. I'm so sorry for it.
I prayed 5 times a day. I don't.
Alright. So first of all, this is another video from the Dean Show, Mohammed Hijab and Eddie Dean, the guy that Eddie, I mean, the guy that constantly asks you for money for like the Dawah Center. I had a talk with the Eddie trying to get him on the show, but yeah, no, he ghosted me. So he didn't say anything bad, but he ghosted us. So yeah, I'm not much help from me for him.
I was born and raised Muslim.
So this is basically some guy who used to be a Muslim, left, and then Mohammed Hijab's giving him a critique.
I prayed 5 times a day, and on Ramadan I fasted for 10 years. I was taught Islam was the only way to heaven, and I believed it. Then I started making non-Muslim friends. Christians said Jesus is the Son of God and is the way to heaven.
And that was another one of his arguments. Well, the Christians say you're going to hell if you don't, accept Jesus.
Hey, guys, we got a special guest on here.
Hi, everyone. Zane here.
Hey, Zane, your voice is a bit muddled up. Do you happen to speak up a bit?
Is it like not loud enough?
Yeah. If you can make it a bit louder.
And let's see. Okay, how's it?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right.
All right. I'm actually COVID positive.
What?
Yeah, I got COVID right now.
Since when?
Since 2 days ago.
Not good. I hope you don't feel too bad enough.
Oh yeah, no, it's just a midweek discussion, right? Hopefully, Mohammed Hijab can bless my COVID away.
Oh yeah, I just noticed our friend over there, the bald one. There he is.
Yep.
Oh,
and I just and before we continue, I just finished a video on the burka. What's your opinion on it?
Yeah, I watched some of the start. I didn't watch all of it. Apparently, it's a cultural thing in France, doing things like that. But from what I understand is that French women have a difficult time integrating with the country they live in, the culture they live in. and
Yeah.
the French government was eventually forced to take some drastic steps to help them integrate. Um, how much do I support it? In some ways I do, in other ways I don't, because when you force someone to take a garment off, it's almost as bad as forcing them to put a garment on. And so, because I fully believe in freedom of religion, I think if they want to, believe in a religion that oppresses them, forces them to put a garment on and never take it off in public, except for when they're in front of their husband in the bedroom, um, they should be able to do that. If that's what they want to do, they should be able to do that. And I also
Yeah.
understand that there were certain security concerns which forced them to take steps like this, because some people were using it as a weapon against the population. And when public safety is at risk, then I think nothing else matters. The most important thing is to keep the public safe. As an example, in my review of the Lady of Heaven movie, which got taken down, the first thing I did was I expressed happiness that the film did get taken down, even though it's against freedom of speech. But I was still glad that it did get taken down, because the public was definitely at risk in that situation. If they had put the movie on that cinema and let the public in, there was almost certainly going to be a bloodbath in that theater. And we're not talking like a small attack, like a van attack or a knife attack. We're talking like a suicide blast at least. Yeah, or maybe someone puts explosives somewhere and runs away, then pushes a button and makes them explode. So a lot of people would have gotten hurt, and a lot more people would have gotten injured, killed. Like there would have been deaths, fatalities, and injuries. So I think in situations like that, public safety comes first. So if that's what made the French government take such steps, then yes, they did the right thing. That's all I can say.
Yeah, for me though, like a lot of them, like we just watched a smaller video where one of the ladies was like, "Is this the Western values? Just it makes me uncomfortable seeing a girl not wearing a hijab or not covering up completely and such."
Hmm.
And my thing is, and these women were hijabis and niqabis, right?
Yeah.
Now, you're gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong here, but in the Quran it says that they have to be modest by covering their hair and chest area, right? So it actually says nothing about wearing a niqab.
Yes, exactly.
If they're gonna take that quote and extrapolate to having to wear a niqab religiously, I'm okay with that. But I'm gonna see you as the same way as, let's say, you're a Buddhist who extrapolates the Buddhist text by saying I need to be as away from materialistic things as I can, which includes clothing, tosses the clothes, and becomes a nudist. Because they're both extrapolating to the same extent of extremes from a literature that's nowhere near close to what that's mentioning.
It's all subjective,
Yeah.
Most religious scriptures are, just totally subject to interpretation. It's just like it's poetry. And poetry is mostly subjective. It doesn't have a single meaning. It just gives you some vague idea of what it wants to communicate with you. And then it's your job to, extract the correct meaning from it. And that's why people extract different meanings from it. And that's why in all of the major religions of the world, we have all of these different denominations and sects. And every single one believes that they have the right one. If religious scriptures were like objective truths, objective facts, there would be no sects in them. Yeah, you would only have one single interpretation. But because they're vague and they're like poetry, that's why people interpret them in different ways and come to different conclusions. So yes, it's if a Buddhist doesn't wear clothes because of that one particular part of their religious teaching, they're trying to follow it the right way. And same goes for the niqab.
So either one shouldn't make the other person uncomfortable. So this niqabi, by her own logic, should not find a nudist uncomfortable, yet they're doing it, and I find it very hypocritical of them for doing
Yeah,
it.
one-sided, totally one-sided.
Yeah, because it's a direct quote where she says, "I feel uncomfortable by women who aren't covering up.
Yeah.
And
you know,
I'm thinking it's their choice whether they want to cover up or not. You're in their country. They choose not to follow your customs, but the customs
Yeah.
are their own law. They're not breaking any laws here.
Yeah.
They just rather wear a T-shirt. Why is it your problem?
Yeah, totally. I fully agree with you. And I also would like to add to that, look, if that woman feels uncomfortable, she feels uncomfortable. If she wants to tell people, well, it's her right. It's freedom of expression. She can do that. But when you make people feel bad about how they behave and how they act, that's the problem. And a lot of people do that, unfortunately. They force their thoughts and views upon people.
Yeah,
you
for
can
sure.
express your view. You can express it, no problem. But just, don't force it upon other people. That's all. Don't make other people feel bad that they don't think exactly the same way you think.
Yeah. So this video particularly, there's some popular YouTuber. I think he does like these TikToks for like the best country this or whatever it is. To be honest, I'm not quite familiar with that guy, but he left Islam, right? And Eddie from the Dean Show and Mohammed Hijab are reacting to him.
To an ex-Muslim video?
Yeah.
Nice. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, and I don't know if you know or not, but we actually got in touch with Eddie from the Dean Show.
You did?
Yeah, we want to get him on Gin and Tonic, and after discussion, he actually ghosted us.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any idea why? Any guesses?
Because, how do we put this best? Hellfire!
Is it because we're dirty infidels?
Most probably. Or, like, because what I even said is, like, original conversation, he didn't know if he could feel comfortable around us. So I said, if there's any time that I'm not moderating the discussion properly, I'll donate money to that fundraiser that you do for your community, mosque or whatever.
Yeah.
I told him I'll do it on air while you're present using my own personal money. I'll donate it to you to use for that cause. I made that offer to him. I have the email of me doing that, but he still ghosted us.
Yeah. What's his name?
Eddie.
This guy in the beard, yeah.
Yeah, the black suit guy.
Is it his show?
Yeah, it's his show.
Okay, yeah. Let's do it.
All right, so I'll play the video. Just let me know when you want me to pause it.
Yes.
I was born and raised Muslim. I prayed 5 times a day, and on Ramadan I fasted for 10 years. I was taught Islam was the only way to heaven, and I believed it. Then I started making non-Muslim friends. Christians said Jesus...
Wait, make non-Muslim friends? That's not allowed.
Well, in a way it's not, yes. There is a certain verse which says, do not take the Jews and Christians as your friends. But most people reinterpret that to mean something different. So,
yeah, because the first person that he says are his friends are the Jews, or the Christians. The Christians. They say Jesus said this.
is the Son of God and is the way to heaven.
And that was another one of his arguments. Well, the Christians say you're going to hell if you don't, accept Jesus. The Muslims say you're going to hell. The hell with all of you now. Yeah. So I mean, what do you say to that?
This is the deen truth.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, assalamu alaikum. Mohammed Hijab, how are you, my brother?
Alhamdulillah.
I want to take a second and address a phenomenon that's been happening. You have a lot of people who are Muslim, maybe by name, locality, and Muslim is simply one who has submitted their will to the will of the Creator. That's right?
That's right.
But many people, they
But I don't think that's an accurate description, because let's say I submit to the let's say I submit to the Creator in Norse mythology, right? I submit to Thor or Odin.
Yeah.
Am I still a Muslim? No.
Well, this is kind of like a modern definition which these modern Dawa boys have come up with. that a Muslim is one who submits to the Creator? Well, first of all, you're assuming that your Creator is the Creator. So you're not only saying that, the Creator we believe in, the Creator. So, you're automatically dismissing any other possibility. Second of all, what about the Prophet Muhammad? Can I be a Muslim without believing in him? What about the books of Allah? What about the day of resurrection? What about predestination? What about, all of the other articles of faith? I think there's 6 of them. So if I choose to not believe and say the 4 books that Allah sent down, if I choose to not believe in one of them, am I still a Muslim? What do you think, boys?
Nah. Like the funny thing is Mohammed Hijab will later explain why it is the one true and only religion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll explain in his magical
nothing
terms.
to worry about then.
Yeah.
So we can just sit back and just wait for him to give us the all of the wisdom that he has. We can just sit back and sip on our tea in the meanwhile.
Yeah, his explanation will make you get a brain aneurysm. Like, I just want to see your reaction to his explanation. I'll play it and I'll pause it right after.
Oh, it's that good, is it?
Yeah, it's going to be the next statement from Mohammed Hijab.
Okay.
Maybe they go to university, right? They have their parents teaching them to pray. They go through the rituals. They go through the motions.
Yeah.
But then they get out into the world, and some of these things they get hit with. They end up not going to the right sources to get the answers, and they form their own ideas, and that kind of goes with their desires, their lifestyle, and they drift off into the world. There is a nice young brother that we're going to go ahead and look at his video, and then we're going to kind of... there's some of these points that he mentions in these videos, they go right up into what I'm talking about.
Right, okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
In life, there are 3 things you shouldn't talk about: money, politics, and religion. So today, I'm going to talk about religion. I was born and raised Muslim. I prayed 5 times a day, and on Ramadan, I fasted for 10 years. I was taught Islam was the only way to heaven, and I believed it. Then I started making non-Muslim friends. Christians said Jesus is the Son of God and is the way to heaven. Jews said they were the chosen one. Hindus said there's not one God, there are millions. And my atheist friends made fun of all of us. The more...
Alright.
Okay, can I get the first word in here?
Sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, guy, what was his name again? The bearded friend of ours?
Eddie,
the one who ghosted us, yeah?
Yeah.
I like the way he said that boys and girls are raised in Muslim families, and eventually when they grow older, it is such a horrible thing that they start thinking for themselves, and then they look at the world around them, and then they form opinions of their own, and that is just so horrible. And he made it sound like it was, the worst thing that you can possibly do. But, other Muslims have actually mocked me for not thinking for myself and, just falling for propaganda. So who's right then? Are they right or is he right? Because this guy just said that it's not good to look at the world around you and form your own opinions, whereas other Muslims have mocked me for not doing that. Like that you should do that. You should look around you, form your own opinion.
do you want to know what the correct answer is?
What is it?
You have to think for yourself, but the end result has to be Islam.
Yeah, I guess that would be it. Think for your, or should I, should you say pretend to think for yourself? You can, kind of go around in circles a little bit, maybe touch one perspective, touch another perspective, touch another one, and, kind of just think them through for a little bit, but make sure that in the end you always come to one conclusion. The conclusion is already drawn, basically, right? You already know the answer, but you're just going around to look at different answers. And what even is that about? It's not honesty, is it? Really, that's just you kidding yourself that you're looking for answers, because in your mind your conclusion is already drawn.
Yeah. All right, so I'll continue.
Atheist friends made fun of all of us. The more people I met, the more I realized everyone thinks their religion is right. And if one is right, then fundamentally everyone else is wrong, including me. That is when I stopped believing in religion and continued my belief in the idea of God and decided to create my own religion.
So he's basically an agnostic, right?
Kind of, yeah. Or deist.
It's called Nazism, in which I try to love myself and others to the best of my abilities.
Yeah, loving yourself. Isn't that what every teenage boy does?
Well, maybe he's a clever one. He does come across as a clever one.
Yeah, no, like it would have been a perfect video if you just said, "I'm an agnostic," right?
No, I think it's deism, because a deist is one who does believe in some God, believes that there's some God out there, some force out there who did create the universe and does protect it. But doesn't exactly subscribe to any organized version of it.
Yeah.
What agnosticism is that you don't know whether there is a God or not. You're kind of in the middle position where there might be, there might not be. I don't know. So his position would more accurately be described as deism. Yeah, like I said, guys, earlier, that if you think for yourself, they mock you, and if you don't think for yourself, they mock you. So these guys really need to kind of have a meeting and decide which is it. Is it good to think for yourself? Is it not good to think for yourself? Because according to this guy, it is not good to think for yourself, and thinking for yourself leads you away. And he said it like it's a disease. But other Muslims mock us for falling for Western propaganda and not thinking for ourselves.
Yeah,
So
I'm just gonna play it. Yeah, Zayn, I'm just gonna play it back a quick minute, and it's gonna prove your point. But after the guy says I made my own religion and I stopped believing in Islam, whatever, once his video ends, look at Eddie's face. Look at this bearded guy's face.
I'm looking at it.
When I stopped believing in religion and continued my belief in the idea of God and decided to create my own religion. It's called Nazism, in which I try to love myself and others to the best of my abilities.
All right, before
you see that sigh of disappointment in the guy.
Wait, that's kind of like what my face is. Did he say Nazism?
Yeah.
He created a religion called Nazism.
Yeah, his name is Nas, so he created a religion called Nazism, where he believes in himself.
Oh, I thought it was Nazism, man, like Nazi Jews. I'm cool now. I'm cool. Well, this guy's face, obviously he's gonna look like that, because remember what we said earlier. There's only one conclusion, and since the guy drew a different conclusion, yeah, this guy's gonna look at him as if he's got the smallpox or the monkeypox, I should say.
Yeah. All right, let me play it to see Mohammed Hijab's explanation.
Give us words of wisdom.
Before we go on, you got a chance to look at it. We got a chance to look at it. We love you, Nas, and this is we taking the time. This is out of love. Yeah. That's the brother's name, Nas. Is it? So he's got to know that we love him because we're addressing this.
Of course.
Have you heard some of these arguments? I'm sure you have.
Well, yeah. It's actually logically unfounded arguments. Like if
Please explain to us how it's logically unfounded.
Well, if you think about what.
Pardon?
First of all, I'm going to say, well, you love him. We love you, Nas. Really? Do you? Really? I mean, you are supposed to be chopping his head off and not feeling mercy while doing it. And the community needs to be watching it so you can give him maximum humiliation. So, is it the toxic kind of love? Is it the possessive kind of love?
It's the same love Allah has on gay people.
Yeah, that kind of love. There we go. And those who are in hell, remember that?
Yeah.
Allah loves everybody, including women and kafirs and And everyone who doesn't listen to him, he loves everyone 70 times more than their mum loves them. And mums love people a lot.
Yeah.
So multiply that by 70. Okay, so what does he
What the arguments
Yeah, let's
actually
listen
are
to
is
that.
that something which is complicated is untrue. So in other words, because there's many choices, it cannot be the case that the choice that I have decided upon, or my family has decided upon, or the environmental situation has put me in, is the correct choice. There's a few fallacies associated with this. The first one is the genetic fallacy. Just because something comes from a certain place, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just means it just comes from a certain place. Just because there are so many options of religions, or let's say there are 6 major world religions, it doesn't mean that, okay, one is right, all of them must be right.
Yes, Zane, you were saying something?
Yeah, I was saying that first of all,
He actually says something that's half decent. He says that just because something comes from a certain place or a certain environment doesn't mean that it's false. You mean that he's mocking us, assuming that his religion is false just because there are so many others. Well, firstly, he's just doing an overview. He's not saying that Islam is false because there are so many others. But Mohammed Hijab pretends that he did say that. Second of all, he's actually right when he says that, one religion can actually be true, but then it could be any of the others. If that's a fallacy, then, apply the fallacy on all of the other religions, because they could be true as well by Muhammad Hijab's own logic.
Yeah, but that's not the case because only Islam is true.
Well, I liked how he kind of pounced on that. I like the way that, well, this guy says it came from a certain environment, so I don't believe in it. He didn't say that it came, that it's false only because there are so many others. Of course, one can be true. But, that's just one way of looking at it. They can all be false as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
your one-sided argument yet again.
All right, let me play it one more time. Yeah.
Wrong. There's actually no argument against religion there. Then what he says about actually making his own religion is actually an ignorance of what is religion anyways, or what is religion trying to establish for the human being.
Haven't you compounded the problem of man-made religions already?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I'm just going to make my own religion.
Yeah, so if the issue is that religion is man-made, then absolutely you've just exacerbated that issue, because you've just now made another man-made religion. A true religion, for the most part, usually is one which refers to an ultimate truth coming from a deity, or an entity which claims to be a god. Now, Islam claims to be that, and we would say that if you apply logic, rationalism, and also your own predisposition, you would be most inclined to the Islamic model than any other model. Atheism, the ones that you mentioned, atheism is the idea that literally something has either come from nothing, or as the Quran says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ.
Is that true, Zane?
No.
Is atheism saying that something came out of nothing?
No, straw man. And that nobody uses the word straw man more than these guys do, But the funny thing is that nobody does it more than they do either. The default position of a mu'min, a devout Muslim, that's a word for a devout Muslim. Their default position is straw manning, especially when it comes to atheism and when it comes to other religions. What do they say about Christianity? They say that Christians believe that God the Father had sex with the Mother Mary, and so Jesus was born. And we don't believe that because we're not so disgusting and we don't have such negative thoughts about God. We believe that there was no Father. That is a straw man. That is a huge straw man. Christians don't believe that. They believe that in spirit, God is the Father of Jesus, because God put his spirit onto the Mother Mary, and so Jesus was born. Right? So that's a straw man. The Quran also says that the Jews believe that Ezra is the son of God. That's a straw man. They don't. No Jew has ever believed
that God has any son, any biological son. Another straw man. And of course, they will straw man the atheist position. They'll say that, well, something came out of nothing. No, that's not the atheist position at all. And I'm not even going to explain what it is because we've done it so many times. We're tired of doing it. So, it's almost dishonesty because this guy is an intellectual. He knows that's not the atheist position, but he's lying on purpose. He's lying to his viewers on purpose.
Yeah, because he's not the smartest of people.
No, he is. He is smart. He's dishonest, I would say.
All right, let me continue here.
Were they created from nothing, or were they themselves the creators of themselves? That something either came from nothing or existed eternally. The universe existed eternally, which is aside from it being unscientific, is also unsubstantiated. There's no evidence for it. Number 3.
It's amazing how he talks about science like he knows something about it.
Man, this guy believes that a guy flew to heaven on a horse that had wings and flew faster than the speed of light. In fact, billions of times faster than the speed of light, because even light will not break orbit and go outside the universe and come back inside the universe all within, a split second. So much so that a person leaves their home, stays outside the universe for 90 years, and comes back inside the universe. And when they get back, everything is exactly the way that it is. Only a few seconds have passed on Earth. So, you folks fill in scientific gaps with theories like this. I'm not sure that you should be deconstructing a view which is only based on science and is happy to admit that we don't know the answer. We don't have the answer. But at least he did acknowledge that there are other theories which atheists do have as well, and not just the first one.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's continue.
Humul Khaliqun, did it create itself, or did they create themselves? So did the universe exist and not exist at the same time? Also not possible. So atheism is an unsubstantiated logical claim which cannot be substantiated with logical, deductive, inductive, abductive evidences. And
those big words don't scare me.
Man, it's just simple straw manning. All I have to do is just say that I don't know the answer. How is that unsubstantiated and deductible and all of that stuff that he just said? I don't know. Simple. What is your problem with that? The only thing that atheism actively asserts, is that there is no God. Simple. I don't know the right answer. I don't know the actual reason why anything exists or why I'm here, what the purpose of my existence is. I'm not answering any of those questions. You are insinuating that I am, but I'm not. The only thing that I am insinuating is that God does not exist, and I have my reasons for that. If you want to do deductible reasoning, I'm more than happy to do that. And guess what? I will win, for sure. I will disprove your God, no problem. Within 5 minutes, I can do that. Mohammed.
All right. We'll go for another 10 more minutes because I know we're trying to keep the midweek show for an hour. But yeah, we'll just finish his Mohammed Hijab's statement here because there's a lot more to unpackage, and then we'll say this. Yeah.
As long as you want, but I don't want to force you to go too long, as I can see that you're not in the best of health. So.
Yeah, no, COVID's a bitch.
No, I still haven't had it. Probably everyone I know has had it. Family, friends, literally everyone. Don't know why it doesn't like me.
Oh yeah, no. Allah said that you can't touch non-believers, so even COVID's scared touching you.
Oh yeah, there was also a Christian pastor, popular one in Pakistan. When COVID was new, he said yes virus and no virus, which means that COVID will not touch anybody who is a devout believer in Jesus. And a month later, he died from COVID in April of 2020.
I didn't make that up. That is a true story. His name is Sally Sampson. You can go on YouTube, you can look up his videos. And yeah, that did happen in early 2020. You there?
I'll be back in like 1 second. I'm just gonna go grab some water here.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll try to talk to the audience in the meantime.
Yeah. Can you play your positive video by any chance?
I'm not sure I can. I'm using a phone and mobile data.
All right, then I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, all right, you can go. Now you get your water. So, guys, he's gonna take a little break. He needs it. He's not very well. He's down with COVID, and so you'll have to excuse him. I am enjoying this video, I think, by Mohammed Hijab and Eddie. Is that his name? Eddie? Did I get it right? It's a nice video. You know, like they're not boring the shit out of me. But there is a bit of dishonesty there. But that's not too surprising. And yeah, that's why it's called the Beam Show, isn't it? Because Beam is based on a lot of straw man and a lot of face filling, basically, with your own ideas and theories, which you simply assert are true. You don't prove them, you just threaten people into believing them. Kind of like the review I gave about, the movie, The Lady of Heaven. And there were protesters outside the cinema who were protesting against a film which their own Muslim brothers had made from a different sect. But they had a big problem with those beliefs. And so guess what they did? They, by force and threat, took down the movie, or had it taken down. And after that, we saw the movie get taken down. We saw free speech in really struggling. And then the government of UK had to take some drastic steps to resolve the situation. One of which was to dismiss the anti-Islamophobia advisor of the government, of the Prime Minister himself, Charlie Arkin. He was fired on that same day. And in a letter to him, they said, we don't have a choice but to get rid of you, because instead of standing for free speech and standing for the Shia minority who were just trying to express their views, you sided with protesters who were threatening to go violent. So we have to express disappointment, and we have to let you go. But yeah, that is kind of like what the game is. You scare people into believing what you believe. Different viewpoints are shut down, and here they are. These guys sitting down in Western nations, both of them using technologies made by Jews and Christians, and actively asserting that they are wrong and they are bad people, and they treat Muslims badly, and they bomb countries, and they do this. The bomb countries part is actually true, by the way. But we know everything. Using their technology to express the view that they are the enemies of God, and God has now forsaken them and now chosen us. Because remember, in Islam, Jews and Christians were the chosen people, but then God decided to forsake them and choose the Arabs instead. That is the Muslim position.
Yeah, and like these two, Mohammed Hijab, he doesn't understand how privileged he is, because we did a reaction to him even going to Nigeria and spreading that stuff, knowing full well. Yeah. So
he
yeah,
went
let me.
to Nigeria in I'm gonna assume in coal areas where there wasn't a lot of infrastructure and stuff.
Yeah, and then he started trashing Western countries. We actually reacted to it on Gin and Tonic.
Yeah, I should. Maybe you should send that video to me in ID, and I'd like to take a look at it, because I got some friends from Nigeria.
Yeah, I'll send you the link. But anyways, let's continue, so we can at least finish Mohammed Hijab's first statement.
So the atheistic position is really, I would say, a response to religion, or to the failure of certain or perceived failure of Christian religion in the Western Hemisphere.
And that's another response to the man-made religions.
Yeah.
People see through intelligent people and they just discredit all religions.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to, because some people do actually say atheism is a religion. Some people, he
Only religious people say atheism is a religion. No atheist says that a religion is a religion.
Exactly.
Atheism is the antithesis of religion. Atheism is literally the lack of belief of a theology.
Yes, it is. By definition, it's not a religion, and that should tell you about the straw manning that I was talking about. That so many of you say that atheism is a religion. Muslims say that, Christians say that, everyone says that. But doesn't that tell you that religious claims stand on straw manning? And yet they accuse each other of doing straw manning. Sometimes, I laugh my ass off when I watch religious debates, a Jew versus a Christian or something, Muslim versus a Christian. It's so hilarious, that they all do straw manning, all of them, on all other religions, on all other ideologies and beliefs, and on each other's beliefs.
And here they are debating with one another which of their religion makes more sense according to reason and logic. Maybe we could do a reaction on one of those, Maybe we could grab the debate between Zakir Naik and William Campbell, or, anyone you like, and do a reaction on one of those.
Yeah, no, I was actually thinking of doing that for future episodes, but we'll discuss it. Let's continue with this as well. Because he makes some points on other religions as well.
Yeah, you can forward it if you like.
Mentioned atheism as a religion.
Yeah.
Many atheists wouldn't even put atheism as a religion.
But they have their own set of rituals.
Yeah.
The lucky shirt, lucky charm,
Absolutely.
The aliens in the space. Mm-hmm. They have their own set of beliefs now.
The atheistic narrative, according to postmodernists, is a meta-narrative of some sort. It attempts to explain the world in a certain way. So atheism is one thing. If you want to consider it a religion, I would say it's one that it is man-made. It's no doubt is something which is definitely man-made. If you want to consider it as a religion, and something which cannot be proven to be true in any case. Hinduism, as you mentioned, is the idea of a multiplicity or a plethora of different gods. This religion doesn't have as absolutist a claim to the truth as the Abrahamic religions in the first instance. You can come to many different conclusions by looking at the Bhagavad Gita and the different the Vedas, for example, in the corpus, the Hindu corpus. It's not really in the same sense absolutist in its objective moral claims. So in other words, it's a religion which doesn't even make the claim that it's absolutely true in the same way as, let's say, the Abrahamic religions do. Then you're left with Sikhism, which is the sixth major world religion, which is a very recent religion.
About the Hinduism thing, isn't it the exact same thing for Islam though? Because why else would there be so many sects?
Yeah, good point. He said that there are different ways of looking at it. Well, yeah, that's why sects come from. But I have to say that I actually agree with a lot of the stuff that he just said about the different religions.
Yeah,
he actually got a few things right there.
Yeah, and that's, just so you know, disclaimer, that's by total accident.
I thought you were supposed to give the disclaimer.
Yeah.
Okay, go on.
Would say it's not an absolutist religion. Some would say it is an absolutist religion. It's a difference of opinion. But it's an amalgam of the Hindu and Muslim legacy of the Indian tradition. And we can say that Hinduism, it doesn't comply with either a strict monotheism in so much as that it considers the guru as part of God. And so therefore, the idea of monotheism is obscured with that notion. And moreover, it's not something which has offered any evidences to be a true religion. And despite it being a religion which is born out of, as we say, other religious dispensations, it's not something which has the evidence which we could say, okay, this is a true religion. And that's why it stayed regional. It stayed in the Punjab region in India. So we've covered three. The other religions now, we could talk about Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Judaism is a religion really which is not a proselytizing religion at any rate. It's not a religion which claims to be for everyone, frankly. It's a religion which really affirms this idea that the Jews are the chosen people and that the Gentiles are not the chosen people. Then you're left with Christianity and Islam. And then you ask the question.
These are now the Abrahamic religions.
There are the two Abrahamic religions that are.
Wait, Judaism isn't an Abrahamic religion?
It is, yeah. I guess that last bit they got wrong, but I think he's got some things right here. Again,
Yeah.
two accidents at the same time.
Proselytizing religions that are claiming to be absolutely true and that have very solid truth
We've
claims.
narrowed it down.
We've narrowed it down. So we're left with Christianity and Islam.
We're making it much easier for our brother now.
Making it easier for him.
Yeah.
Of the major world religions, obviously Buddhism is another thing which is not absolutist, and some people even say it's a religion. So that's why I haven't mentioned it. But with with Christianity and Islam, the question would be now, on a fundamental level, which is more commonsensical, which is more rational, which is more logical, is it the idea that there's 3 in 1 and 1 in 3? The idea that the Father is God, the Son is God, the Holy Spirit is God, but there's only one God, which doesn't even add up mathematically. It's not rational. We can trace the historical development of the Trinity. Or the idea that God is one, and that he has a long line of messengers that have come before time, all of them with the same message, that there's no God to be worshipped except for God, and that Muhammad was the final messenger sent to all of humankind, as is mentioned in chapter 7 of verse 158 of the Quran, that he is sent for all of human beings. And so,
Alright, so we'll stop it there. But yeah, so what do you say to his response there?
Well, he kind of went on a spree of, explaining all the different ideologies. And then in the end, he said, we've narrowed it down. Well, first of all, you completely did a straw man of the atheist position. The others, I think he got right. Hinduism, Sikhism, I think for the most part, he got those right. But then he said that we've narrowed it down to 2, to Christianity and Islam. Why have you narrowed it down to 2? You only mentioned like 5 religions, literally. You said yourself that you only talked about 5 religions and atheism. And you even said that atheism is man-made, which is true, by the way. We don't say that it's God-made or that we got it from a divine source. Of course it's man-made. It's a man-made idea, yes. That we assert that there is no God. It is us humans who do that. And we also believe that we're not sure what the origin of the universe is. Of course, that's a man-made idea. Human beings made it. So yeah, well done, Hijab. You actually got something right. But when you say narrowed it down, what are you even talking about? There are so many other religions. And why do you actively assert that man-made ideas are the only possibilities? The religions are man-made, atheism is man-made. Yes. Why are they the only possibilities? Why is there no possibility beyond that? Are you saying that humans know everything about the universe and beyond? Maybe there is something beyond, maybe there isn't. We don't even know that. But did Hijab just say that all of the man-made ideas on planet Earth, this tiny little rock that we live on, all the ideas here are the only possibilities and there's no other possibility? Did he just say that?
Yeah.
Unless I'm an idiot and I didn't understand it correctly.
Yeah,
but that is... Go on.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, like, he oversimplified it by so much.
Yeah, exactly. When he said that he's narrowed it down by, quickly explaining all of them, he didn't do too bad at explaining the, like some of the, Sikhism or Hinduism. He did all right, and Buddhism. But when you say narrowed it down, you literally have just, asserted that the ideas on planet Earth that us human beings have is the only, are the only possibilities. And there is no information beyond what we have. There's no knowledge, no information beyond what human beings know. And yet you mock atheists for, not knowing the correct answer. We're happy to admit we don't know the correct answer. We're happy to admit that there's things that we don't know. Hijab just asserted that the only information in the universe is the information that people have. People that live on this tiny little rock. Well done, Hijab. You're an intellectual. Well done, Mohammed.
All right, then. Thank you so much for coming on, Zain. Then, because we just crossed like the 1 hour mark, so I'm going to cut it here. But thanks, guys, for coming on. And we'll probably react to the rest of the video or something else in the weekend.
Yeah, and I've got some interesting ideas too. Hopefully, I'll bring those to the table, and we will see you guys again. And you.
For sure. Take care.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.